Hi, everybody. Joe and Zach, your local Pittsburgh realtors, here today to talk to you about if you're a seller, do you need an agent? Is it required? Can you sell on your own? And, Zach and I are realtors, so obviously we have our opinion on that. We'd love you to use a realtor, but really we're here to talk to you about what the advantages are to having a realtor. I'm sure most people are familiar with the term for sale by owner, sometimes called a FSBO within the real estate community. Those are people that sell to their on their own without a real estate agent. I think the numbers I saw on that, most of the time when you do that, you're selling it to somebody you know already. It's kind of a set deal. I'm going to sell grandma's house to one of the neighbors, or a friend of mine's going to buy grandma's house or grandpa's house when they pass away. And there are a number of others. I think they account for maybe 10% of the sales in real estate. So the vast majority still sell through agents. But we're here to really tell you a little more about what value does the agent bring to the table. So the first one is, and the statistics back this up, is generally speaking, you're going to net more as the seller by selling with an agent, even paying the commission, which is the reason a lot of people balk or at having an agent, or have had a bad experience with an agent. Maybe they feel they didn't earn their commission. Is that even with selling with an agent and paying a commission, you're probably going to net a higher amount at the sale than you would selling on your own. The second big thing is that when you list it for yourself, you put a yard sign out, you may be able to get it on a few websites and create a profile with some pictures. And you could very well sell it yourself. But with an agent, all of us who belong to the multi-list, when you put that listing in the multi-list, it gets kind of blasted out to a lot of different places. All the consumer sites like Zillow, Realtor.com, all the other competitors' websites, Caldwell, Howard Hanna, Remax, Keller Williams, all of those, we all share that information with one another, and it's going to appear on everybody's site. In addition to that, it's also going to filter out to any marketing that agent has, if they have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those kind of things. And it's literally a great example of going viral. When we start that marketing process, your house and your listing will go viral on the internet. I mean, if you type in the address of your house probably 3 or 4 hours after we've entered in the multi-list, yeah. It just comes up hit after hit for different things.
There's a few other reasons. Not only just you're going to make more money and it's going to be more seen by buyers, but it's also a lot easier, the whole process, because once you get it listed and you find a buyer, you still have all the negotiations, and that takes practice and skill. And that's what we do. A lot of the hard work that we do is the negotiation part of things, and it's always easier to have a buffer between the actual seller and the buyer. So if each of those have a agent, then more feelings get taken out of it. I can't say that it is always feelingless, but we try to make it as professional as we can and keep everybody happy. But that's easier with a buffer, aka an agent, in between the buyer and seller, and it also offers protection. We shoulder some of that burden so that the seller isn't directly responsible for anything legal things that would come around because of
The majority of sellers probably only sell a house a few times in their life, whereas we're doing it all the time. Not that we have a crystal ball and can tell every possible scenario, but we have experience doing it on a daily basis. So when something comes up, we can say, yes, this is typical. No, this is not typical. This is a number of solutions we could have to this problem. Just the experience of being through the process multiple times every week versus 2 or 3 times in your lifetime. But often sellers are really helpful in the process. I'm often amazed how much they find out on their own through their experiences and reading online and watching videos like this, for example. The other thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is, and this came about in the era of selling things online, is if you're selling yourself versus with an agent, You have people calling you saying, "Hey, I'd like to see the house. Can I come over?" You don't always know what their intent is. And in real estate, we're very careful with pre-qualifying people through a mortgage, knowing who they are. Most of the bigger companies have a rule that says, before you take somebody out, you have to have their information and find out who they are. Because they're, even with agents, I mean, there are a couple of cases every year where an agent gets tricked by a buyer and they, rob them, do them harm in some way. And, there is an additional layer of protection there when you have an agent. You know who's coming and going with a lockbox. You know what time they got there. You know what time they left. And, security with Ring cameras and inside the house cameras, security cameras, are a really important thing to make sure that nobody is going to harm your home or take anything or do anything they're not supposed to do while they're there. Obviously, there's a lot more to why you'd want to have a seller, why you'd want to have an agent. We're happy to talk to you more in detail about that anytime. Thanks for watching.